How are we all doing? Sorry, it was a bit starting slightly later than normal. Hello to Nashville. I like Nashville. I had a great time in Nashville. I had some good times in Nashville. I'm here with my tea. Let me sort the lighting in here for 1 second, and then we'll. Hello, Altair. How you doing? And then we'll get started proper. Oh, Altair, you know I'm slightly struggling. I'm still not recovered. Hence the cozy vibes. Let me sort the lighting here first, and then we'll sort this out. That's right, time to get cozy. We're getting the cozy vibes started. I've got my fucking cottons on, I got my cardigan on. We're having a fucking chill one tonight. What's some chill lighting? This is quite chill. Oh, that's nice. It's kind of nice and warm. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Oh man, my journey back to London was hellish. I guess that's a good place to start. To start today's stream is talk about my ill-fated journey back to London from Liverpool. First of all, since we've got no wine to talk about today, I'll just talk about my tea. So today's tea is a it's not PG tips, it's Yorkshire tea. We got a Yorkshire tea, English breakfast, just some standard stuff. If this goes on long enough, I might treat myself to an Earl Grey. A wee Earl Grey would be nice. I was just thinking about that now. But this is just a standard Yorkshire tea. No alcohol content. We're doing a cozy stream because I had a big week. Oh, nice. Just goes with the sort of vibe. Things are cooling down in England as well. The weather's suddenly got chilly. So the cardigans have been cracked out. The tees have been cracked out. My hair is all over the place. What's going on? What's going on here, John? Sort yourself out. I filmed a video today, so we're all good on that front. And we're just staying chill today. Nice. So this week, let's talk about the reasons why. The reason why this is a sober stream today. So I don't know if anyone who knows what this is, but I'm sure there are. Altair for one knows because he was there. This from Saturday till Tuesday was a left-wing festival called The World Transformed in Liverpool, where a bunch of left-wingers come to a city and it's connected. It's like a fringe event, sort of Labour Party conference, except at this point the only people who really go to Labour Party conference and TWT are the sort of professional pundits who do both. Most people don't really do much in Labour conference, and frankly the further from Labour Party politics TWT gets, the better it gets. 1 second, I have to reply to a text and then I'll be right with you guys. Yeah, so basically, left-wing festival. People have a lot of fun. It's basically an excuse to it's basically an excuse for a bunch of like people on the left in the UK to come and meet up and like go to some good panels, do some good workshops, but also, in my experience, the two years have been the most sort of edifying and useful stuff has come from outside of like panels and more just like sitting in a pub, drinking and chatting with new comrades, new folk that you've met. You know, for example, one of the days was thank you, Joshua Walk. Walk. I hope that's pronouncing right. I would assume so. Yeah. So on Monday, I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. I spent like several hours just in the pub, just like filtering through new comrades, new folk to meet, and it was just good. It was just a good day, and very handy. But the sort of flip side of this is that it's a big sort of drink fest, and I was also at a party on the Friday night, so it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday until like 6 a.m, 6 a.m. We were drinking and out, so I'm exhausted. It's been 2 days. I'm still not exhausted. I'm still tired. I'm still gonna sleep brilliantly tonight. And the age is getting to me. The hangovers are getting to me. And I'm doing some time off alcohol, just to recover because I feel desperately unhealthy at this moment. I tidied my room today, hoovered, fucking made a nice dinner that still didn't finish because I ran out of time. But we'll get back to that. Fucking, we're vibing. It's cozy town over here. I mean, I don't know if something like that would work in the US because it's too big. Like, the reason that it works in the UK like right now is because the UK is small enough that people can come from. I mean, it's not easy to get from all over the UK to like. It's worse than Brighton, but to get to Liverpool is a challenge, and it's the smallness of it allows you to meet folk, comrades that you know, folk on Twitter that you know from UK left that you've never really had a chance to meet. I don't know, maybe that would work in the US, maybe it wouldn't. Yeah, Brighton's a hassle. I mean, not for London, not for folk in London, but for anyone else, Brighton is a hassle. Yeah, so today we're being cozy, we're being comfy, we're not drinking, we're just chilling, and that's the vibe. I'll tell you about my fucking ordeal getting home. The fucking ordeal getting back from Liverpool. So, I do have to remember to try and claim back train ticket prices because they fucked me. So I left London at, I left Liverpool, sorry, at like 12. I got on the train at 12 to Chester, which is, I don't know, somewhere else. I got to Chester, my train was cancelled, so I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? I'm exhausted, I've had 2 hours sleep, I'm hungover as hell, didn't want to deal with this. So I had to go to Crewe. Went to Crewe and got there. My headphones died. I was furious because I was listening to Studio Ghibli music to calm me down, to keep me on a level, to keep me on the plane of chillness. It was the only thing holding me together. Headphones died. I was like, fuck. Where do we go from here? And then I got on my connection train from Crewe to London Euston. Got on there. Sat in my seat. Fucking the seat in front of me was libertarian far-right journalist Tom Harwood, who was on the seat behind me on my way to Liverpool. So I don't know what fucking magnet I am for Tom Harwood, but he's fucking everywhere apparently. And that was annoying. I had to listen to him talk with my headphones running out. And then I got to London, ran to the tube, well, walked quickly to the tube so I could get home, desperate to get home, holding on by a fucking thread. And I got into the tube, only to notice that my reusable coffee cup lid had been knocked off somewhere. Just gone. It was gone. My reusable coffee cup is now fucked. So I was just sat on the tube, just sitting there going like, bollocks, bollocks, fuck's sake, Jesus. And I caught myself because there was a woman opposite me just like looking at me like, what the fuck is going on with this fucking pale ghost man just sitting there like just watching me on an edge of a breakdown, just like sitting there going, bollocks, Jesus Christ. But I was like, okay, it's okay. I'm sure I can order another lid of it that will fit. That I'm sure it'll be. So I centered myself again. Finally got back. The 40-minute journey it takes to get from King's Cross or London Euston to my flat. Finally got back. And I got in the door. Kat greets me. It's like, hello, Kat. I'm glad to see you too. Go into my room. Kat runs into my room too. And I just sit there patting him for a while. And then begin to notice a smell. A horrible smell. I don't know what the smell is, but it's bad. I pick up the cat and chuck him out. And he fucking stinks. I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he rolled in. I don't know if it was if he just, I don't know, taking a piss or a dump or something, but it absolutely reeked, and my room absolutely reeked. Hence why I was cleaning it today. And I was just like, Cat, this is not what I wanted. This was the last thing that I needed. But thank you, Cat. Thank you for providing the real nail in the coffin to the shocker that was my day yesterday. It was a fucking shocker of a day. And I forgot to even say this. It started off bad. The journey started off bad because I realised as I was getting up to go to my train in Liverpool that I dropped my train ticket somewhere. I didn't know where it was. I guessed, and I went back to the Lidl's and asked if they'd found a train ticket, and just coincidentally, just sheer luck, one of the Lidl staff raked through a bin and found my train ticket in the bin, and I was like, oh, fucking, whew, that was a relief. That was like I should have known in that instance that this was going to be a cursed journey, and it was a cursed fucking journey. And at that point, I decided that we were going to do a cozy stream today, and we were gonna take those bad vibes from yesterday, those cursed fucking vibes, and we were gonna turn them into good vibes. So that's the plan for today. Fucking fuck yesterday. Today's gonna be good. I do like a tea. I will say I really enjoyed Liverpool. First time I've ever been to Liverpool. Good city. Reminds me of Glasgow a lot. I'll play some music and then we'll get back to chatting. All right, let's lay down something new. Let's get another tune on the go. See what we can cook up. You having a bad Crow X? You having a bad end to the September as well? I mean, to be honest, my end of the September has been bad. Liverpool was great. I had a great time at TWT. It's not been a bad time. I've had some stress with fucking dealing with my university, but aside from that, it's been good. It's just been like, it's just been, just that day was bad. Just yesterday was bad. Tomorrow will be better. Today's been better. Yesterday was bad. 13 by 13. I mean, that's praxis. Paying attention to this is praxis compared to paying attention at work. Oh jeez, Crow, that sounds awful. Sorry. to it. We're doing some sort of fucking 70s jam in here, and I am good with it. So we're enjoying this. Do I ever play any metal or punk? Not really. I've done sort of heavier stuff in bands before, but never really done metal or punk. It's not something I mean, I don't think I have the technical proficiency to do actual metal, and punk's never something I've just hugely gelled with. I've gelled much more of things that are like often like Eastern European mixes with punk, like Go-Go Bordello and like stuff like that I enjoy, but never really been a huge into punk. Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Joshua. Hey, hello Aga Ghost, how's it going? Oh, I'm gonna have to drink this tea or else it'll go cold. I'm liking this vibe. Might try and We're in Purple. Oh yeah, I do love that song. It's a great song. Also Balkanorama. I don't know if it's something that happens just in. If there's a festival, a sort of club night that I go to sometimes in Scotland called Balkanorama, that often has like good stuff like that, and it's always great fun. My profile picture on Twitter with the glitter on my face is taken after a Balkanorama show. That was great. One time I was at Balkanorama. It was in Glasgow Art College, in the art school, and I was there with hey, what's therapy? Thank you. I don't have wine, but I can do a cheers with my tea. Super chats, get cheers with my tea. Thank you so much. And you're thank you for enjoying the work. Thank you for enjoying the space. Balkanorama, I was there with my brother and my flatmate, and we were having a great time. My brother was dancing so hard. He was sweating so hard. He somehow smelled of mushroom soup. I don't know how that worked, but at some point, the leader of the band at Balkanorama just took the microphone and went, "I'm declaring taps off," and my brother just went, finally, and he sort of ripped off of his shirt and just slammed it on the ground, and like it moved. It didn't move like a shirt, like a t-shirt should move. It moved with like a force. Like it was dense and heavy, and it just sort of went boom, boom. And it was like Thor's hammer hitting the ground. No one else could pick that up. No one else was worthy except Robbie. He was the one who could sweat that much sweat, and like the ground was cracked around it. It was incredible. I've never seen someone so happy to declare taps off. Balkanorama then. Balkanorama's good. Fair enough. That sounds like a real shit time. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're enjoying the chillness. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's do some more. So if we can do you think we should build up any more layers in this tune? Let's see what we can make. while. It's quite a nice. That's quite a nice vibe to keep going for a while. Oh. So, yeah. So, here we are. New video was filmed today, and the sheer indie funk of it. Yeah, I mean, I've got a fucking brand in guitar playing, don't I? I need to. One thing, if I had more time, I would do is just spend more time trying to diversify my guitar playing for these streams. But the time is running is in low supply. Yeah, so I filmed video today, and I'm quite excited by it. I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm quite pleased with the script, and it's got some fun little actual film, like video stuff in it. I've actually thought about shot composition for once, which is fun. So it's not just, instead of just communicating things through actual saying them, I have some the actual meaning to the actual images, which is fun. That's nice. I'm quite looking forward to it. It's going to be this might end up being the first one to cross an hour long. I'm gonna try and make it not do, but we'll see it. We'll see if it does. It's a long script. Slightly longer than the Adam Conover one, but we'll have fewer clips, so might end up not breaching that hour-long mark. We'll see. We're all doing all right. We're all just chilling out. We're keeping cozy. Got some. Yeah, this is the masculinity video. I'm quite looking forward to it. It should be fun. Should be interesting. Yeah, we're being cozy today. Grim Droid Kai. We're being cozy. How are you? What's on everyone else's mind? What's on the minds of the chat today? What's the new video about? It's about masculinity, and what masculinity is, how it's produced, and its function in upholding patriarchy, and any potential route or way of doing an anti-patriarchal masculinity, and posing some questions on that front that aren't fully answered, but are nice sort of questions. So it should be quite fun. It's sort of interspersed with some like personal reflections on masculinity as well throughout my own kind of life, and that's quite fun. I know that James did that video. I've not actually watched it. I think I might be in it. I might have done a voice in that video. There's been lots of good work on masculinity recently, which is interesting in and of itself, because it is one of those things that is largely absent from a lot of literature, especially social reproduction literature, that like masculinity barely functions in it, which is an interesting thing in itself. Even like outside of the school of thought, which is like hegemonic masculinity, which is like the main sort of a school of thought examining masculinity, even that literature is not huge, like, and even like materialist views of masculinity it's not huge. It's a video that I might at some point try to adapt into something more academic, into a paper, which I think could be quite interesting. I've got a couple of things I need to do academically before I get to that, and there's a risk. And if I started doing that now, my supervisor would be like, "Don't do that now. That's not going to help you get a job. It's going to confuse people." But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, so everyone wish Altair happy birthday. It's Altair's birthday tomorrow, and I believe you've got a 10k on Sunday as well. which is exciting. So everybody wish Altair a happy birthday. Impulse but 6 months of Tinder and now stressed the fuck out. That sounds like a stressful thing. I wouldn't want to do that. Cyberpunk, watch Edge Runner now. I mean, what do I think of Zizek? Oh, Zizek. I think Zizek is bad. I think he's I think Zizek. I've not read the Sublime Ideology. I've heard that's a good book. I've read one of Zizek's books, and it was one of the worst books I've ever read. It was not valuable. It was not interesting. It was just trash. One of the funny things about him is he always just makes up quotes from like Lenin and that are not true. Nobody ever says them, and that sort of stuff speaks to his rubbishness as a scholar, as an intellectual. He is a lazy thinker. I've read some of his articles and they've just been trash. I have a friend who went to his summer school in New York one year. A friend of mine who's like at that time was doing his PhD in post-colonial, like the role of memory, of collective memory in post-colonial studies. And he was just like, yeah, Zizek was just racist to me the whole term, because he is racist, and he also just hates post-colonial studies, hasn't engaged with it in any real way. So when someone who's a post-colonial thinker exists near him, he just sort of abuses them. Yeah, he's not good. I don't really understand his longevity, and I guess part of it is because he's funny, part of it is because anytime he writes an article, it's usually like a bunch of jokes and then the most liberal sort of foreign policy opinion that you can think of, which is probably why he's got some longevity. Yeah, not a big fan of Zizek. Yeah, I mean, Casey saying I feel like Zizek, for every good take he has 10 bad takes. I think that's true, and I think someone once described it as like, anything interesting that Zizek has to say has been written by someone else in a more clear way and without a bunch of guff written around it, and you don't have to worry about the terrible things Zizek has said. He's constantly self-plagiarizing as well. He's bad thinker. Not a fan. I'm not going to waste my time reading any of his books at this point, because there's infinitely better people to read. I guess he is kind of like a raccoon, an intellectual raccoon, in that he's clearly very smart, but he just sort of digs for trash all the time. And I watched that debate he did with Jordan Peterson, because I hate myself slightly, and the tea's good. Tea's run out. I'm gonna have to make another tea. I'll make another tea in like 10 minutes. At 9 o'clock I'll make myself a nice Earl Grey and we'll have 2 cups of teas. What was I saying? Something about Zizek. What was I saying about Zizek? I've forgotten. Oh well, someone remind me what I was saying at some point and I'll get back to it. To be clear, I am laughing. I'm very we could have had fucking Peterson. The Peterson debate. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I watched that and it was like Zizek had one good point in that entire debate, and it was when Zizek had one good point in that debate, and that's when Peterson was talking about how there was only like, Peterson was like, oh well, there's so much Marxist academia, and Zizek was like, where's all this Marxist academia? And it's true, like, especially in, I was talking about my supervisor about this the other week, for like departments that I should try and move into when I find a job. And he was like, yeah, you don't want to go into political science departments, they're full of liberals and old white men. And like, there's no Marxist, and very few Marxists in political science classes. Sociology, you might get them. You're most likely to get the density of Marxists in sociology departments, but it's very, very slim. It's hardly filled up. And that's like the one good point in the whole of that debate. The rest is just like Zizek constantly ceding needless ground to Peterson for no reason, and apparently having like very little grasp on Marx's work himself. It was bad debate, not worth it. I do like raccoons as well. I like raccoons more than I like Slavoj Žižek. Raccoons are nice wee guys. They're just got any fun anecdotes from weekend at TWT? I've got some that I'm not going to share on stream, but I've got some that are fun. What was it? What's a fun anecdote I can share? I'll share this one. So Monday, I think it was. Yeah, it was Monday. Monday was the day that I at TWT that I had a really good time, just like chilling with some comrades at the pub for hours and circling out. And like throughout the whole day I was like, I need to get some food, so like I'll have this one more drink and then I'll go get some food, chill out, and then I'll have a quiet day. I'll have a quiet night. At that point it was like I'd been out 3 days in a row, and I was like, I could do a quiet one, so I can have a big night on the closing party. But every time I thought I was gonna leave, someone interesting came in and offered to like buy me a pint. I was like, I guess I'll have one more. So I spent a lot of time talking to Tom Gann and Josie Sparrow, who were really interesting and really fun. Talking a lot about YouTube as a format with Tom Gann was interesting. And then they circled out, more people circled in, and I got more and more drinks in. And eventually, the people who I was drinking with were folk at the CWU union, and they brought me. They were like, "Do you want to come to the CWU party?" And I was like, "I guess so. I'm already this deep. I might as well go to a party." I turned up to this party, and the vibes at this party were bad. It was a bad vibe. It was like filled with people wearing suits and people with lanyards. Two types of person I'm not crazy about to hang around with. But you got tokens for free drinks, so I was like, I'll stay for a bit. And so the vibe was like really weirdly bad. Like all these people like who were clearly from Labour Party conference, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the union and like do some wheeler dealing, behind the scenes fucking dealing, and dance terribly in this weird venue." So I was there for a bit, and then I met a friend of mine, and I was like, "Oh, really nice. Not seen this person in about a year." So I'll have some chats, and so we were chatting. It was a bit loud, so we went into another room to like sit down, and then like we were like, do you want to go through and have a wee dance, see what's going on? We walked back through to the main room, and everyone just had their top off. It was like the vibe had just completely shifted, and it was suddenly still not a good vibe. Like the vibe was not better, it was just weirder. And me and my friend were like, what has happened here? It was very strange. But then people like had clearly like over-egged it themselves. They were like, "Oh, yeah, this will be crazy. We'll have a crazy time." But then like not enough people had done it. Like it was like maybe a third of people were just topless, and everyone started to feel kind of self-conscious. Still like self-conscious, so they started like slowly putting on their tops again in that kind of embarrassing way. And I mean, my friend were like, "All right, I think it's time for us to leave." So we left then. But yeah, that was the weirdest vibe of the whole of TWT. It was quite cursed. And I was talking to someone after the next day, just being like, yeah, CWU is the Communication Workers Union, and they're not big like Labourites. They do decent work. They're not really right wing. But I'm sorry. It's got a bit of a bean stuck in my throat. Yeah, it was like they're not like a bad vibe union, but apparently the party has just become this thing that Labour Party types do their wheeler dealing and like it's really weird. It was a weird vibe, and everyone knew it was a weird vibe except me apparently until I walked in. But yeah, that's probably the most fun anecdote that I can share from the weekend. The pub was really nice on Monday. It was a really nice pub called the Grapes. If anyone knows Liverpool, it's called the Grapes. It was nice. We went there again for the next day. What's someone saying? I still think Zizek's adorable, just not a hero to look up to. I mean, I don't think. I just think he's. I just think he's bad. I don't think it's signing a value good or bad. It's like if he says something that's not terrible, that's usually you can find it to someone else without having to go for a bunch of guff. Wait, Labour types came from Manchester to Liverpool? Labour types came from everywhere to Liverpool. It was the Labour Party conference and TWT. Yeah, weird vibes. What was another any other fun stuff? It was cursed. It was similar to the previous year. The Jamaican club night had a similar kind of bad vibe to it because of all the people in suits and lanyards and dancing and MPs. There was MPs about as well, and I don't know how I don't care how cool an MP you are. As soon as you're at a club night and there's a group of MPs, the vibe is off, and that's a curse for you for becoming an MP. Hello, Sinan, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're just being cozy today. Not drinking today because of the TWT come down. Yeah, it was kind of like a cartoon. It was it was weird. It was a weird time. GeoGuessr stream. Well, I hope you're not lonely. Hope you're not lonely. I'm gonna put down another tune, and then I'm gonna get another cup of tea, and then we're gonna fucking chill the fuck out. No more lonely than usual. Oh, that sounds very sad, Sinan. I'm sorry. Yeah. Next thing I've got to do, what I have to do tonight is do a character creation for a D&D stream I'm doing tomorrow. I'll be back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes for I'm gonna get another cup of tea, and I'll be back with you. Hello, we're back. This time I've got my Earl Grey. No frozen grapes this time either, because I don't know if anyone knows about this, but if you freeze grapes and put them in the wine, it chills the wine down without diluting it. If you put frozen grapes in your tea, it will still chill it down without diluting it, but you don't actually want your tea to be cold. It's like, there's like iced tea, but you don't want your hot tea just to be cold. Like, don't know. This is just life advice from me to you. No coffee, no, because it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm gonna change the drums on this track. What kind of tea? Hot grapes in tea to keep it warm. I don't know, if you microwave grapes, does it make them hot? Can you get hot grapes? Can you make grapes hot? I don't know about that. It seems like it would be illegal to me. And I don't want to do anything illegal. I've never done anything illegal before, and I would not like to start doing illegal things like making grapes hot. It's such a great, yeah, it's a good grape fact. We're all kinds of grape facts. It is Earl Grey tea right now. Nice bit of Earl Grey tea. Aromatic and Earl Grey tea here. Which is nice. I like Earl Grey tea. I don't drink cold tea all the time. Yeah. Sinan, don't drink Mountain Dew. I don't know what that. Not to pull any sort of snobbery on that, but Mountain Dew is like just gross. Microwaving grapes creates plasma. I'm not actually okay. Don't microwave grapes. This is a fact. We are doing safety tips here now. Do not microwave your grapes. You've heard it from tinfoil. Don't do it. We don't want to spread misinformation here, so no microwaving your grapes. If you're going to heat up your grapes, put them in the oven. What's the frozen grape analog for hot Earl Grey tea? Superheated Viscounts. I don't know. I don't know anything that you can keep in your tea to heat it up without also diluting it. We'll have to I'll get a team of scientists on it, and we'll see what we can come up with. We'll see what we can come up with in the lab for that. Do you like my mug as well? I like this. It's huge. It's so good. You can turn your blood into caffeine with the amount of tea and coffee I drink out of this. I like the odd herbal tea, yeah. There was a period when I was really into herbal teas when I was working in an office job where I just used going to get a tea to like have a break from staring at the spreadsheets. And I was like, I need to stop drinking this much tea. So I was like, get some decaffeinated herbal teas. And yeah, I got into it. I do like an odd herbal tea. I like a peppermint tea as well. That's good. Earl Grey latte, is that good? I'd be willing to try an Earl Grey latte. Earl Grey is one of those words that I add an extra syllable to just for fun. A wee Earl Grey. Like we're not gonna delve into the world of Americans and their absurdities. We don't recognise them as legitimate actors within the international sphere, so they will not be cited in any conversations about mugs. Americans can have their own conversations, but we're not going to pay up. We're not going to pay attention to them. It'll be a cold day in hell before I'll recognise American legitimacy. And Sheffield owl has 2 syllables. Yeah, you get some 2 syllables in owl. Office worker, working currently, I'm drinking like 8 cups of herbal tea a day. It's a great reason to get... Yeah, I mean, that's the main reason. And also, the trick is, the more herbal tea you drink, the more you need to go to the toilet. More time away from your desk, away from working. Fucking scam them. Scam the scammers. Drink lots of tea, do lots of pisses. Get paid. That's how you do it. Owl? Doesn't it not happen? No, I don't think so. Lots of English people would be like, ow. Ow. That's how it'd be called. That's how lots of English people would say it. Like, it's like Scottish people and squirrel. One of those things, it's like, that's the whole fucking purple burglar alarm shit. It's just a challenging thing to do. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think that's why most people do it. I don't think most people work 7-hour days, 8-hour days. After working in office jobs, I simply don't believe. I mean, there are some office jobs, some folk who do that, and they're all fucking exhausted. Working in welfare, those people worked constantly because it was an awful situation in an awful place, and there was lots of work to do. But on a standard office job, nah. Like, I've worked so many in offices where people just fuck about. Just they don't because there's not enough work to do, and most people realise that their jobs are horseshit anyway. I've got promoted, so I have even less work to do. Fucking that's life. We're doing some anthropomorphic studies on how people say owl from now on. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, drink tea, piss lots, get paid, fuck your boss. No, it's not sense. Tell him to fuck off. Don't tell him that. Don't get fired. Yeah. I mean, I used to work. I worked in this place once that, like, I swear, people like. I think people spend more effort pretending to work in office jobs than they actually do working, which is like a form of work in itself, obviously, because pretending to work, you've got to like think of busy work shit to do. But I've like worked in offices where they're like, rearrange this folder, rearrange it again. We prefer it as it was first of all, so put it back. And it's like, this isn't really work. This is just what you do. Choose life, choose piss. Exactly. I had a job once, early when I was about 18, and the job, it was like one of my first jobs, so it was like, I wasn't being told to do anything, and there was nothing for me to do, so I was just sort of sitting at a desk I had like set jobs to do throughout the day. It was like a board sorting job. I had to deal with mail when it came in, 10-minute job. I had to put mail out at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5-minute job, because you had to walk to the post office and back. I had to close up windows and doors at the end of the day, 10-minute job. And the rest of it was just me sort of sitting at a desk being like, what do I do? And because it was one of my early jobs, I assumed that I couldn't get away with not doing stuff, so I was always just like looking around. Anytime someone came out, I had to be like looking around, like find a way to be like improving myself working. And I should have just like had a book. I could have done so much reading that summer when I had that job, but like, I don't know why I pretended to be working. Like the other person who had we worked in shifts. Someone did the morning shift, and I did the nighttime shift. The person who did the morning shift would just like would just read when they weren't working, and it's like, why wouldn't I do that? The sort of drilled down capitalist logic was already in my brain, where I had to be like, oh, I'm here to work, so I better work. Whereas these days I'd be like, 6 hours of me getting a chance to just read and get paid for it. Sounds pretty good. Anyone know that Black Books episode where Fran works in the office and has no idea what she's doing and pretends the whole way through? I remember that episode, yeah. Yeah. That's basic, yeah. And of course we've got to remember with Black Books that Graham Linehan had nothing to do with it. He doesn't exist. It was all Dylan Moran. And that's actually one of those things that is largely true. Apparently, because Dylan Moran was a less established figure than Graham Linehan, in TV at that time, they kind of forced Dylan Moran to have a more established figure on the writing and creating credits to make sure that it was good. And apparently Linehan just didn't do anything. He was just there to like tick a box. It's like, oh, we've got we've got a big figure, so we can justify taking a risk and commissioning this show. So you know, rest easy. Oh, Liz, I've done phone and reception stuff before. I hate it too. There's like, I hate answering calls. I hate taking calls. It makes you just incredibly like uncomfortable and nervous. I don't know why. It just does. Even like like Zoom calls and stuff make me feel like that as well. But I had this job when I was working welfare. Basically, like a lot of the time, that job was basically like a call center. Your phones were ringing off the hook every day, and you had to take these phone calls. And I was like, maybe by the end of this, I'll not be as worried about taking phone calls. I think it made me worse. I genuinely think like working with doing some LRU stuff, and they were like, "Do you want to do some phone banking, John?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, the fear of me doing phone banking, I would not be able to do it. Like I know we're supposed to do stuff that makes us uncomfortable, but the actual like fear of it gets me, and yeah, doing that job I think made it worse, probably because of the content of the job and now associating answering phones with that stressful job. But yeah, not a fan of phones. And in fact, like the reception, I'm much better on a reception where I'm actually talking to people than answering phones. Phones fuck me off. I just don't know how to do it. I just don't know how to deal with it. They make me so bad. Each time I rewatch Black Books, I understand misanthropes and socialite cats more and more. There's a moment in Black Books. Yeah, I mean Black Books. If Bernard Black wasn't such like a terrible figure, it would just be like an ideal place to live and work. It was like he just fucks around and drinks wine and smokes. It looks great. I'd like to work in a bookshop. I wanted to ask if you think any Scottish independence prospect is on the table. Maybe. I don't know. Depends. I mean, I doubt that the UK government is going to be amenable to it. They're not going to let Scotland do an independence referendum that has any meaningful legal character. And I don't think Scotland's got the organised, radical capacity to demand anything in a way that would allow actual change, because part of the independence strategy and part of the problem with independence is that it forecloses radical politics into this tiny little fucking bourgeois box where the left has no power and no ability to develop itself into any sort of meaningful political force, and which, you know, is ironically probably inhibiting the ability of them to demand independence. So maybe not. I don't know. It's a question that's the questions of independence are less interesting to me than like the effects of how focusing on independence has hurt the Scottish left's ability to organise around things that actually matter. Because I don't think independence really matters. So I'm gonna have to lean in to read some of these comments. Honestly, considering politics in general, I'd take my chance working with Bernard Black. Yeah. I understand, John. I'm trying to do more, which frightens me. We have in order to bring about the change we want, but the fear still gets me too. But we can try as solidarity to you, comrade. Solidarity to you too. And this is actually one of the things that I wanted to think about in the video. Is I think there's a certain tendency within organising to be a particular kind of person, and if you're not that kind of person, then you start to feel like maybe you're not cut out to do this work, which I think is a sad, and I think it's a shame that anyone would think that, because there's so many things to be done and so many different skills and personalities to be put to work in interesting ways, that like something as like as shallow as like not being happy or being able to do phone calls shouldn't make you feel bad. Like some people like it, some people are fine with it, so that you're not shouldn't be an issue. But there's like part of you that feels like that, and it's oh fucking hell, the best adult, the fucking the bots are here. The bots are here early. Bots, we're here. This is a chill stream. We don't have time for your horniness. Heidi's on this channel. There we go. Whew. Yeah, the bots don't recognize the authority of chill stream. They're still here being horny. Wait, you know, we've put them in the bot jail. How do they get in here? They just turn up. Sometimes they just turn up. Alright. I'm gonna have a wee play around on this tune, and then and did I have a good TWT and Journey Home? I had a good TWT. The Journey Home, nope. Journey Home, we've already been over this. I won't go over it again in the detail. Journey Home fucking sucked. Everything about that was fucking terrible, and I hated that journey home. It was a bad day, and we're still getting over it. We're moving forward. We're being cozy. We're forgetting about the bad days. TW2 itself was good. Cheers, Joshua. Cheers to the super chat. Yeah, and we will put this to good work. Finding ways to increasingly attack and discredit and end the United States as a force on the world stage. That is we may be chill here, but we remain convicted and convinced of our goals. No blinking, folks. This is what we do. This is what we're after. I hope that doesn't get me kicked off YouTube. I'm sorry to hear about your laptop screen, Meredith Mars. Nice to chill though. Nice to have some chill in here. It's been a chill stream. I like this audience, and the audience is always good. Always like how nice everyone is in here. We're not a confrontational bunch within the community, which is good. Do you think we're going to live through the fall of the US empire in our lifetime? I mean, never say never. I think, I have seen some well-reasoned, credible arguments that the US empire is declining, and the US as a force is declining. But things can change. Things can change fast. You never know how things hold on. The strength of the US dollar against the British pound is good for the US to some extent. Yeah. Oh Jesus, 13 by 13. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay and not in any danger or anything. Jeez, that sounds horrible. Good night, Altair. Enjoy your birthday tomorrow. Turkish lira has gained off the pound. Yeah. Yeah, it was good to see you, Jordan. Cheers. Yeah, it was good. It was good to see you. That was a good day. That that day at the pub. It was a good day. Yeah, the state of things in the UK is we're really reaching the real fucking banter zone of the UK and its conditions. Fucking hell, things are fucking weird. Yes, I don't know. It was a shame. I was wondering if you were going to be up. It was a shame we didn't catch you. I think there's more chance that the UK will break up and no longer exist than there is the US will. Yeah, I think that's a safe thing to say. Yeah, it was a shame, Sinan. I thought that you might have been there. If it's on next year, yeah, that's fair. If it's on next year, you should come along. What about the poor king? Yeah. I mean, what was it I was seeing today? He's just so terrible. That's the fucking king. Yeah, days off. Yeah, even if it is, I was thinking about that. Even if it is on next year, I probably won't be able to go the full. I mean, hopefully I won't be able to go the full time, because it would likely be at. I'd be looking for an academic job, and it would likely be at the start of the term. So I mean, I hope I can't go next year. Maybe. Well, maybe. I hope it's still on. I hope it still continues next year, though. Am I going into teaching? Well, I'm gonna be looking for academic jobs, and academic terms start in all the uni postdocs are depressed. Yep, that tracks.
Uh, yeah, I mean, like, I would like to get a teaching gig at some point next year. I mean, I would like to get a teaching gig now, but the recruiting period has finished. Um, yeah, I hope 13 by 13 is okay too. That's quite a worrying thing to put in chat. Um, that is good, Jordan. Alright. I'm gonna switch up the tunes, see what comes up.
13 by 13 is okay. Hello. I'm sure that if they were able to type that, they were not in a terrible immediate danger. Welcome to the stream, Barry Monsterful. We're just having a chill one today. Just keeping everything nice and mellow, keeping everything fine. We're all gonna be okay. Like, we're all gonna be okay at the end of the day. We're just gonna play some music, just to drink some tea. And we're just gonna keep everything fine. That's what's going on today. Yeah. What's anything else on anyone's mind? Anything going on, or any burning questions, or anything they'd want to ask about, want to talk about in chat, want to explore, want to think about, because if not, I'm just gonna keep babbling. So it's I'll have to think anything interesting. Main thing on my mind is the backlog of stuff I have to write and record. I mean, yeah, that sounds common. That sounds like my life as well. Bake Off. Don't watch Bake Off. I don't watch, but I don't mind Bake Off. It's just not thing. Do I recommend joining any local party organisations in London? They all seem to be Trotskyists, and I don't think necessarily that's useful to join. Maybe. Yeah. Don't. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't think I'd recommend any party organisation to join in the UK at this point. I think they are all Trotskyist fronts. You don't want to get involved in one of them. I think more useful stuff in London right now is renters unions, anti-raids. There's right to food stuff, which can be quite interesting. Although think about what you're looking to do and what you're looking at to what you can do. Acorn exists in London, which is different from Acorn in America. People always Acorn in London and the UK is a good organisation. Yeah, just have a look. Sometimes quite useful to just if you don't have any direct connections with anything. I mean, I wouldn't say so. I think most renters unions tend to be pretty radical. At least a lot of right to food stuff is often pretty radical, pretty anti-capitalist. Specifically, so other renter stuff that I'm involved in is specifically anti-capitalist stuff. Lots of that stuff. Fans supporting food banks, yeah, and that stuff. I don't think. I think you're probably going to do more to organise in anti-capitalist ways in those sort of groups than you are within a Trotskyist sort of party, a political party at this point. There might be one or two around that are better than others, but at this point, I think in the UK, and I suspect probably in the US, that anti-capitalist force and organising is going to be developed around these sort of issues of the immediate means to subsistence stuff and building up class solidarity and organising in that sort of stuff more than it is going to come through a party, a single party form. I suspect that's the case. So I mean, I think that's probably useful. I mean, what's the deal with Trotsky? It's less Trotsky himself and more Trotskyists and then this is slightly outside of my area because the amount of Trotskyist organisations and the various beefs between them and the acronyms that they use fall out my brain like a sieve. But there's so many, just so many scandals so many. They're bad for like leeching onto existing movements and like pushing people into certain forms which aren't useful. Just Trotskyist organisations are generally just not particularly good or useful. The SWP in particular, bad organisation. It's much more Trotskyist orgs rather than Trotsky himself that I think is the problem. Yeah, no, that's bad. They're bad. What are people saying? Let's scroll up. I've not watched the new series of Ghost Fairy Rat, but I do enjoy that sitcom. It's quite fun. Marianne Rutter, don't scab. The union voted in favour of doing something. Don't scab. It's a very simple thing. Because in that situation, you're not the only person around, and if it's something that has been voted for in a democratically organised union, then your sort of personal needs in that situation kind of are subsumed under the union. Don't scab. Did we elect Mary Berry Queen? Hey, it's Cozy John. Hey, it's Harker. Welcome, Harker. We're being cozy here. We're getting cozy in here. We were just talking about Trotskyists a second ago. So we're cozy and describing Trotskyists. Yeah. I actually was talking to one of their organisers, and the amount of arguments between them are so minimal, and I just couldn't believe that they're from such different coalitions around that. I mean, yeah, it's mad, the amount of like the various splinter sects and different sects of these organisations is incredible. And on Sinan, on Trotsky, I have again, my history of that stuff is not great. His theory of uneven and combined development, though, good. So you gotta give him that one. You gotta give him credit for that one, and also for being the commander of the Red Army. You kind of have to give him that one too. So, yeah, Trotsky's bad. Yeah. So we've dealt with Trotskyists and scabbing and ghosts. He was bad as a commander of the Red Army, notoriously incompetent. I don't know, man. I don't know enough about it. But you gotta hand it to him. Like, they got through that period. What do I think of Nietzsche, the aristocratic rebel? I've never read it. Not read it. Yeah. Considered becoming a professional picketer. Yeah. Well, I will come to. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know my history of the Soviet Union very well. It's not very good, and it sounds notoriously like getting into some sort of obscure historical thing that explodes into one of these big arguments about the Soviet Union that I simply am not interested in. You did say your dad going on about that, and like I know of your dad being a big Marxist-Leninist, who famously aren't that keen on Trotsky. So Hiya Davil, how's it going? Um, uh, yeah, we'll split the chat between different tendencies of the audience. Who wants to pick a tendency of the audience to be a leader of, and we can split the chat accordingly, and then you can split within your tendencies as well, and see we can have a bit of fun here. Do our own version of Trotskyist parties within chat. There's 47 of us watching now. We can come up with at least 130 tendencies with that number. We can. When I first started learning about the term tendency, it felt like I was talking about sexual orientation. You know, in a way, queering tendencies as would be a fun thing. Your mum was a Maoist, a weird family. I mean, my dad was a revolutionary communist, and my mum was not. So you know, we've all got our strange families. You know, trot. Tendency to cry. Yeah, that's the first one. We've got our first tendency. Tendency to cry. Next one. We need more. We need a tendency to not cry, who specifically hate everyone who's a tendency to cry. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, Meredith Mars. Your sister's probably correct in that reaction. How can Trotskyist concepts be explained to some? I mean, it depends what you mean by concepts. Trotskyist sort of parties could just be explained by a bunch of people who have lots of opinions and like fighting. It's a bunch of like people who like their social clubs and like fighting. Eco-anarcho queer sailor mooninist, that's a good one. We've got two tendencies so far. Who wants to start their first fight? Yeah, I mean it's cliques. That's all it is. Yeah, there. It's just cliques. It's people who have got cliquey and friends, and like again, I'm talking about this, and this is like stuff that falls out in my brain the moment people tell me about it. But like I know people who are like into this shit and know all these tendencies, and when you talk to them, all it is just like, oh, they were friends with someone and they didn't like that person, so they did a group these days, like, oh, they formed a WhatsApp group and excluded that person. Some people didn't like that they excluded that person, so they left the WhatsApp group and started, and it's like all this it's just cliques forming political tendencies and taking themselves extremely seriously. It baffles me, to be honest. So yeah, that's my summary of these these strange Trotskyists. Just be a little bit more cool. I mean, yeah, that's all we do. Solve a lot of problems. Just like, I mean, it does like it's not even something that's endemic to left organizing. It just seems specifically with these Trotskyist sets. I don't know why. The raccoon tendency clique. I like that one. I like raccoons. I'm hitching my wagon to the raccoon tendency for now. And if that makes other people split and make other raccoon tendencies, I will move my allegiance on a dime to that new raccoon tendency if I think it sounds better. But for now, I'm with the raccoon tendency clique. We'll see how long I stay there. I'm gonna change up the music, because I'm getting bored of this song. 1 second, I've got to tune. I'll be back in a sec. Has anyone come up with a competing raccoon tendency for me to join? If not, then I'm with tinfoil all the way. Let's see, what did I miss? What did I miss in chat? Why is there a buzz going on there? That's fine. Gang factions preparing for the apocalypse. Exactly. Did I miss someone leaving? Yeah. John's tends to tune his guitar. Yep. Yeah. Why is this buzzing so much? Rat tendency, fighting raccoons about the best way to tip over the bins for food. I mean, I do like rats as well, so that's the thing. To be fair, I am predictable in many ways. I'm predictable in many ways. So any animals, I'm just a sucker for. I love animals. Rats are just little guys. I've not seen Abby's play yet, but I'm going to see it next week. I'm quite excited. It'll be a fun night, I think. Quite looking forward to it. Yeah, I've heard good things. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing that. So good, yeah. I've heard good things. I'm quite looking forward to seeing it. I don't go to the theatre much, so I probably won't be able to be that insightful about in any sort of review. But I like fairy rats, yeah. I like all rats. Shorts have shown Bio-Rat and Seagull content, and it's been great. Shorts have shown Bio-Rat and Seagull content. People. Oh, they've been showing you rats. Right. Yeah. No, I like. Why is there a buzz? There's a buzz going on. 1 second. There we go, that's better. The main insight that you need is, did you enjoy it or not? Yeah. I mean, there are reasons you can... I understand that, but like, you can enjoy something for more than, like, I think I don't quite buy into that. I don't think I buy that, Sinan, if I'm going to be honest. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to have more context about why you like something more than you enjoy it. I enjoy some banal stuff. The game was just cool, yeah, move on, yeah. So it's good. I mean, I'm sure you'll get to play even if you've not read Shakespeare. Shakespeare's one of those things that's like endemic. Like, it's so embedded within, like, popular culture across the world that that even if you've not read Shakespeare, the references of art and of theatre themselves will have probably built themselves into your subconscious. That's like the form is so indebted to Shakespeare in its own way. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely think it does. It's one of those. I mean, and in some ways, from what I've heard about some of the tendencies of British theatre, that's not always good. Sometimes, but I imagine sometimes it is. You just get the vibes, even if you don't get the language, I'd assume. So you understand the emotions of the characters, even if you don't understand what the fuck anyone's saying. Is that right? Well, I mean, I went to see a couple of Globe Theatre productions over the summer, which were really good. And yeah, they mean, like, you don't understand half of what they're saying, but the acting in those things is so good that you actually do understand what's going on, which is interesting. Because like you sort of have this image that. When you're like reading a Shakespeare play, you sort of have this image that back in like Shakespearean times, back in the Shakespeare time, everyone just innately knew what was being spoken about. But like we watch films sometimes, and like I've watched films sometimes, and people are talking, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? I've got no idea what's going on here. And I assume that is something that exists in Shakespeare plays as well. I imagine that back when they were being first performed, people were sometimes sitting there like, what the fuck is going on here? And then just waiting for a joke, and the joke happens like, you got me. I was shaking there, Shakespeare. I was on the edge of just walking out, but you reel me back in with a joke. So I mean, I was actually surprised by how much I enjoyed the Globe performances. They were both King Lear and The Tempest, and I preferred The Tempest. The Tempest was really good. King Lear had some weird stuff with costuming that I didn't think made any sense, and it was hard to parse. But it was still good. It just wasn't as good as The Tempest, which was very good, despite the fact that half the cast were reading off scripts because half of them had got COVID. Having watched Abby's vids will give you a better understanding of the play than reading Shakespeare. That's probably true. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're fair at like 10 Things I Hate About You is The Taming of the Shrew, I believe. Lots of Shakespeare plays were turned into 90s high school stuff, which is fucking great. I think that's good. Yeah, by 10 Things, yeah. Good movie. I like that movie. Yeah, it was at the Globe, and I don't know who William Kentbridge is, but the sort of vibe, everyone was like, it was all modern clothing, Prospero was like wearing a big Hawaiian shirt and everything. It was great. It was really good. The guy who played Prospero was genuinely he was one of the folk who was brought in at the last minute, the same day, because half the cast had COVID, and he was reading off a script, and you forgot he was reading off a script. He was so good at that performance. He must have done it before, but it was really good. The Globe summer standing tickets are such a deal. £5 to see Shakespeare. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Abby's play. I think it'll be good. And she's worked hard on it. So I'm glad it's been getting good reviews. Yeah. All right. How about this? We go for. I will have another wee play of the old guitar, and if anyone's got any more topics or stuff, we will. We'll talk about them for a bit. And then if no one's got anything to talk about, we'll call it a day soon. It's been a nice chill stream. We can end it in a nice chill way. Editing your last video drove me nuts. I mean, that video looks better than any video I've ever made, Sinan, and you did a good job there. But I can understand why editing that drove you nuts. Fairy Rat, I don't have a firm date, but sometime next week. Well, I mean, maybe if it'll be up for patrons sometime next week. Depends how much time I want to give between putting it up for patrons and putting it up for everyone. So either next week or the week after. We'll see how quickly editing gets done. Got a lot of footage, big long video, so it might take a while. And I've also got some like PhD writing to do as well, so it just depends. And also, Sinan and Harker, I don't know how you guys work on more than one video at once. Simply, I cannot do that. I don't know how you have the time. My fingers are now getting sore from playing. Welcome, Pinko, and now I'm alone. We're just reaching the end of the stream right now. So you're coming in late, unless you've got some some burning questions or anything else that you'd like to talk about. Then we'll probably draw it to a close within the next few minutes. We've been cozy.
the vibes have been fucking chill. We've been making sure everything's okay. I've been recovering from 6 days on it, and it just passed me out the door. Yeah. This has been a good way to recover from 6 days on it. And you can see in my face right now. I'm just looking. I had a look at the stream there, and you can see that I am tired. I can't hack it these days. 6 days when I was 18, 6 days on it, nothing, easy. Fucking walk that shit. 10 years on, it's a struggle, but we keep going. Next jobs will be making a what does on it mean? Drinking, nights out, dancing, not getting enough sleep. That's what on it means. I didn't think you were a fairy rat, don't worry. Yeah, basically. That's why there's no wine tonight. I do need to come to Nottingham and drink. I should do that at some point. Just quickly, British politics. Yeah, well, it's fucked. Got you. Easy. Fucking 2 words. I can knock that shit right out the park. Yeah, I can knock that shit right out the park. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and I will, as ever, leave the stream going for a few more minutes, and leave the music going for a few more minutes, and let folk hang out and chat and chill out. But thanks to everyone who did super chats, and I'll catch you back here in 2 weeks, or if a video is released sooner than that, then thanks for joining us. See you later.